Can I ask you just, again, not a hot potato necessarily, but there has been an increasing amount of volume around the 5-year residency rule. And when you look at James Lowe, Jamison Gibson-Park, Bundee Aki, and the impact that they have had for Ireland, this subject of residency seems to be sort of growing a little bit. I know every nation is at it in some form or another, but 5 years residency, keep it?
I think it's about
Scrap
right.
it?
No, I think it's for 5 years. I think if you commit to a country for 5 years, I think you shouldn't have played for certainly a tier 1 nation, a cap for them. I think once you do that, you're committed, and I don't think you should be able to even return to your own country of birth. I don't think that makes sense. I think it makes sense with tier 2, and that's what it was employed for. I think the upgrading from 3 years to 5 years isn't insignificant. 5 years is a lot of time to spend in a country, and I think if you commit often with your family and play in a country for 5 years, you represent that country, I think, is absolutely normal and not an issue. But I would keep it at 5 years. And actually, for example, James Lowe is now an Irish citizen. He's a full Irish.
I was going to say, France, you need a passport. You need a French passport to play for the French team. It's more than just the 5 years, but you can get a passport after 5 years living in, and working in the country. No, but you joke, but Aliverity Raka, everything was delayed. Meafou could not play the last World Cup because of that. He was waiting on his passport. Yeah. So they've been very strict about it. I think it's the way to go.
I also think as well, listen, I know the grandfather rule is there as well, but I think somebody who, again, moves their whole life over to a country, commits to a country for 5 years, and maybe plays for the province or the region or a club during that time. Yeah, like they've a greater connection than many people whose grandfather, and they 100%. Rock over, and and it's happened with Ireland before. Someone that had a very sort of grandfather pretentious connection, had been trying to get into another system their whole life, comes over and jumps in and starts immediately. Yeah. I don't know.
There's actually also the inversion of that as well, which is that you tell me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that James Lowe and Bundee Aki have become far better players in Ireland than they would have been if they'd stayed in. Well, James Lowe would not be a 50 cap All Black.
No, I don't think so at all.
Bundee Aki,
and there's different reasons for that. So they've all, and like Gibson-Park, sort of totally, these guys are maximising their ability and have got way better. If you look at Bundee Aki 5 years ago and Bundee Aki now,
different player.
And actually James Lowe, when he first came out, like James Lowe was a really explosive guy, but what he's added to his game over the last number of years, it's exceptional.
Yeah,
kicking game, way better at defence, way better kicking, like key player for Ireland in so many. He's like Ireland's talisman at the moment.
So a couple of, therefore, what are they? They're sort of questions around, I suppose, the England. So do England need, given we're talking about this, Bernard Janse van Rensburg? Sticking point is that he can't play for England, although he's done 5 years, because he played for South Africa under 20 in 2016. So he's now not eligible.
That's an extreme case. I think 2016, so nearly 9 years ago.
Should your 5 years residency qualification then overtake anything that you have done at age group level?
Yeah, I think. I sort of get torn on this because I think by the time you're 21, you know which country you want to play for, but at the same time now, with how easy it is to move around in rugby leagues and play somewhere else, you can still find your home, and a lot of South Africans do find that home in other places because of it's all about work, and if they're comfortable there, they'll stay there. And so look, do England need Van Rensburg? I'm not entirely sure.
He wouldn't get into the team.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but would I say to him he wasn't allowed to try? Well, no. I think if you've been here 5 years and you've done that time and you've paid your taxes and you've done everything else, you should be able to throw your name in the hat, and whether he gets it or not is, again, what he does on the field. So, I know Dave Ribbons is looking at going back the other way, isn't he?
South Africa, I think, yeah.
Any problem with that? Well, not really, if England aren't going to pick him when he's playing abroad.
Right. So, he'd be quite a useful addition, Dave. To the ranks.
So there's so many flaws to this because he can't get picked for England, which is ridiculous. So he's obviously, if he can flip that back, he's going to flip it back if someone's going to still pick him whilst he's playing in France.
Rugby, eh?
I know. I mean, in an ideal world, you just play for the country of your birth and you're happy. But when you're bouncing around,
we are a long way from an ideal world.
Yeah, very far. Very far.